off the chains.
I'm good.
You reckon?
I'll be good, yeah.
Just move it further away from your mouth.
Yeah. I just won't
Hope
do
so.
a high pitched. And the lighting's all good?
Hope so.
All right, should we just get into
the
it?
frame, like, when I go back? Like, is that all good?
Is that where you would normally sit?
It's correct. Like this. Literally like this.
And I sometimes position like this. So that would hit me. And if I'm like all the way here.
You don't know. You never do that.
I never do that, do I?
No.
Remember how initially I was going to be on one edge and then you're going to be on one edge and there's going to be this chasm in between us?
It's ridiculous.
And then we thought, didn't we test it out? And we're like, this just looks ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you would be so zoomed out. You would have to like turn your head to like...
Oh, yeah, because we were going to have the tripod thing set up over there and here.
Yeah.
That was pretty genius. Though.
You know, someone literally said in the comments, just get a desk. Just sit on a desk. Just straight up.
I think it's...
What do you
boring,
reckon?
man. This is our niche.
It's just cool, just casual. People say they like to just sit on the couch and just chill. They watch us.
Yeah.
And they feel like they're just chilling on the couch with us, you know?
Yeah, like...
It's like, you know, if you're watching right there, oh, look, hey, James, how's it going? Join our conversation, you know?
Very welcoming.
Very welcoming. Well, that's what we hear at Broken by Concepts. We're very welcoming.
So what episode are we up to?
Oh, I actually got to check that.
I actually forgot.
It must be 14, right?
I think it is 14.
Yeah. All right. So let's just get into it.
Yep.
I think it's my turn. So I'm even, you're odd, right?
I'm actually not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 14 of Broken by Concept. My name is Nathan Mott. I help people get better at jungling. This is Coach Curtis. He helps people get better at the mid lane, but he's also a psychologist based on the size of your psychology playlist on your YouTube channel, Curtis.
I actually have so many videos in that playlist now.
So you're like a league psychologist. Maybe you should literally put that in your Twitter thing.
No.
League psychologist midline coach.
I put CEO of esports in there.
CEO of esports. People won't get that.
Yeah, they won't
because
get
that's an
it.
Australian Twitter meme at the
You
moment.
should explain that meme. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, there's like this. They're talking about it. It popped up in some government Senate thing or something like that.
It's like
in
a
Australia.
government politics, like at the... They were talking about legislation
like, about governing bodies and stuff like that. And then this really like
professional
boomer.
He's a boomer, yeah.
You know, with the suit, he's like talking like he really knows like about esports and stuff like that. And he literally quotes is like, "Well, we spoke with the former CEO of esports." And everyone on Twitter is like, okay,
Who's the CEO of esports?
I didn't know there was a CEO of sports and esports. There's a CEO of...
Yeah, apparently this guy exists somewhere out there.
He's had the conversation with him.
Well, he's self-titled. He gave himself the title, the CEO of esports.
Yeah, there's someone walking around right now. That's what I'm saying. You're the CEO of esports. I could be the CEO of esports.
It could be you.
Billy, watching, you could be the CEO of esports. As long as you know more than this guy, this boomer.
So, and then some of the memes on Twitter were saying we should do a huge battle royale, and whoever wins gets the title of CEO of esports.
I hope I win that. That'd be such a cool title.
That would be cool.
I could just dictate everything that happens in esports, man.
All right, what do you want to kick it off today?
Did you notice my shirt, Curtis?
Oh, this is the jab at Will, isn't it?
No.
No?
Not at all.
Okay. Will know if Will watches this.
No, it's about, so my... So for people listening, who, you know, on Spotify and stuff like that I can't see it, obviously, but this is my good old school Team Dignity shirt, 2014, when I used to play for the team. And you know what, what's it called? My coaching clients always say?
What?
Nathan, stop living in the past.
Yeah.
Because you know what, I always bring up, like, like rank 2 challenger season 3.
But do you often bring it up?
Yeah, once a week.
You bring it up once a week?
Yeah, like this is how I got to rank 2 challenger. This is how 3 counts top 10, right?
Yeah.
Season 4. And everyone's like, Nathan, stop living in the past, man. And it's true, dude. I just live in the past all the time. What do you reckon?
I mean, you don't really talk about the... Actually, no, you do.
I do live in the past.
No, you do talk about the past a lot. Because you always ask me, do you remember this? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It's true, because I never really...
Yeah, you're so forward.
I'm very forward.
Either right now or thinking in the future. But I just...
Yeah, you think about the past a lot, actually.
I'm just always trying to relive my heydays. Why do you think that is?
No,
Chris?
I don't think you just focus on the heydays, though. You're the type of person who thinks about the negatives of the past as well.
Yeah, maybe.
You do both. I think they're actually right. The people in your Discord are right. You do I would say that you do live in the past a lot.
Yeah.
But not for the same reason other people do.
Got it.
Because I think most people live in the past because they like want to relive their glory days.
Well, but this is my glory days, dude. My rank 2 challenge.
Yeah, but you may talk about that.
Rippy.
You would talk about that, but I think you also talk about a lot of negatives.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do you think about that? Why do you care? Let's move on. You know, this is...
Yeah, there's like these certain experiences that like randomly come up. It's like, okay, just remember the last day of X where we ate at this place.
Yeah, you say about this random stuff.
It's cool. It's like a talent.
Like, how do you remember that? Why do you care? And then you do that actually quite often.
So that's what people in my Discord say. Nathan, stop reliving your
they probably have a point, dude. They probably have a point. I mean, I see it all the time. I mean, this is just... I'm not even saying this from an egotistical standpoint, but I really don't like it when... So you see like a content creator or a streamer and they put in their stream title.
Yeah, and Twitter.
Rank
Twitter
1
things,
jungler or top 10 challenger mid laner. But you look at their rank now and they're like bottom of master or low grand master or like diamond. But they got challenger like 3 seasons ago or they got top 10 4 seasons ago. It's like, dude...
It's about where you are now.
It's about where you are now.
And what you're going to do in the future.
The most... What's that? There's that quote saying the only thing that matters is, like, as soon as it's done, it's done. Like, the only thing that matters is what's happening right now, where you are right now. Yes, if you had been a long-term, say, you'd been top 10 multiple seasons in a row, like maybe 3-4 seasons, yeah, then you probably could maybe put that in your...
I mean, still, dude.
Even still, because the game has changed so much.
I mean, I'm so, you know, I talk about my old school, you know, dominating solo queue top of challenger days, dude. I'm Diamond 1 in solo queue, dude.
Yeah.
Struggling in Diamond 1.
Yeah.
It's like, what does it matter?
Yeah, to be honest with you, it actually could be kind of toxic.
I think
in the sense that it's holding you back from figuring out what you need to do now.
So I might have to burn this shirt, burn all my Direwolf shirts. Maybe I should just completely get rid of my closet.
Shit, I've told you this for months.
All my HyperX, all my sponsorship shirts.
Get rid of it all.
And
go to Uniqlo.
Start
get
fresh.
Like 7 t-shirts, basic. Literally what I've got on right now, just a plain black t-shirt. Get a few colors.
I'm thinking grey.
Grey, black, white, whatever. It doesn't matter. Blue, red.
Should I do it like now or next? Like New Year, New Me.
You should do it as soon as possible.
I think you're right.
You just go online. You don't even have to go into the store.
Yeah.
Literally after this podcast, after you finish rendering it, editing it, Uniqlo, boom, arrive in like 4 days, Monday, done. Next podcast.
This is the last time you're going to see the Team Dignantis Rippy shirt.
Yep. Dude, it'll cost you like dick all. It'll cost you like $20 a t-shirt. Not even.
Just got to stop living in the past.
That's right.
All right. So let's move on to our first topic of the podcast. Let's get into it, since we've established that I need to start working on being more present and living in the future.
And just like a little caveat, I'm not feeling too well today, guys.
It's all right.
So if I'm a little bit low energy, bear with me.
Curtis will, I'll carry Curtis through this podcast.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
All right, so let's start off with story time, Curtis.
Okay, I love story time.
Story time with Nathan. Someone in the Twitch chat said I had a buttery...
buttery voice.
No, my voice was as smooth as butter.
I thought it said buttery.
No, that's what I said. It was buttery, but it says Nathan's voice is like butter. And then I was like, what does that mean? And he says, because it's smooth like butter.
Yeah, you do have you have like an announcer's voice.
Soothing voice. All right. So with my announcer's voice, I'm going to read out this little story. So this is a Reddit post.
Okay.
Titled, it says I'm an League of Legends addict, but it's meant to be I'm a League of Legends addict. Yep. It was on like Reddit, 2 days ago. It had like 1K upvotes. You might have seen it. And he tells this story. It's 9 a.m. I just woke up, another weekend full of potential. Beautiful autumn weather outside. I plan on going to the gym, cooking a nice meal, and maybe going for a short hike in the afternoon. But first, let's play a few games quickly. Why not, I think. I plan on 2 to 3 games for today. Perfect start for the day. So we playing. 1 game becomes 2. 2 becomes 3. 5 games later, it's already lunchtime. I wanted to cook, but I don't really feel like going to the shop, then standing next to the stove. Whatever, I'm going to just order pizza. I don't want to get interrupted playing, so I just watch a stream while waiting for the pizza. I finish it up quickly. Now I can do other things, but I've just eaten. I don't feel like moving much with my belly full. Let's throw in a couple old games until it settles, and so I play. It's 3 p.m. Time flies. I probably don't want to go hiking at this point. Dressing up and going to the closest hill takes 1 hour at least. It would be getting dark too soon. I think I could play 2 games in that time. To hell with it, I think. I'll plan better next time. It's okay though. I can practice my in-game skills. I wanted to try some new champs anyway. It's now 6 p.m. I'm thinking of hitting the gym soon. I pack my bag. It sits next to my desk, ready to go. I did just win 3 games in a row, though. Might as well see how many more I can win, so I can play one more. We have an AFK player, so we lose. Probably just bad luck, I think. And queue up again. This time, it's a close one, but we end up losing. Meh, I'd rather end my games on a win. You know, being positive and stuff. So I play one more. We win this one pretty hard, and it gives me a rush. It's now 8 p.m. A bit too late for the gym. It's okay though. I can always go tomorrow. I'm quite hungry at this point. I haven't made any food and I don't want to wait for delivery. So I just eat what I can find around. Bit of chocolate, bit of this and that, leftovers. I finish them quickly so I can go back to my computer. Still a couple of hours left in the day, so I play a couple more. You know, there's nothing more I can really do now. It's 10 p.m. I take a quick shower and sit back at my PC. At this point, I don't care about winning or losing KDA or other players. I just have to play. I feel it inside me. I don't want to think about other aspects of my life, the failure I am. The chores I should have done, the goal I should have worked on. The moment the game finishes, I queue up again. There is no ifs or buts. It's now midnight. The noise has calmed on the outside. I look out the window and see that most lights are turned off in the other building. It's prime gaming time, I think. My eyes are bloodshot and my vision a bit blurry. They hurt. It's okay though. They've been hurting for hours. I don't really notice it anymore. I just queue up and play. It's 2 a.m. At this point, you can feel it on the fellow players too. It's late. Coke-fueled Catarinas jumping around and nodding Timos planting shrooms all over. You can really see the difference between players now. I'm quite slow too. It's quite mellow and fun to be around this time, so I keep playing. It's 4 a.m. I take a quick break. I open my window for a bit. I can hear the birds chirping. Cheeky fuckers, I think. I close the window. It really starts to sink in that I haven't done anything today. Technically now yesterday. I'm getting my dopamine hits though, so I queue up for the last time. At this point, I don't think. I just do what I've been doing all day. Left click, right click, QWE. The game ends and so does my day. I head to bed and all those flashy plays, triple kills and outplays keep playing in my head. After a few hours of sleep, I wake up and do the exact same thing. Sad face.
Wow. So powerful.
It's a powerful
Actually,
story,
really
isn't
emotional,
it? I know.
honestly.
It's there's so much you could relate to in
There's
it,
so
can't
much
you?
in there. So much to unpack.
And also when I
crazy, man.
when I read that, it's like, wow, like that's probably a lot of people's, especially in terms of the COVID time.
I mean, and again, it's not even about the specific. It's not about how similar it is. It's like there's aspects of it that are similar. Like,
Yeah. Well, you mean you can relate to?
I think there's been times in my life 100% where I've done the exact same thing on a weekend.
Your time just flies and you're like, what have I achieved?
I've done that many a times on a day off where I didn't plan on playing League.
Yeah.
So, for example, when I was a head coach, right, I did League all weekend. I mean, all day. All week, sorry. Monday to Friday, game day, Friday, Saturday, whatever it is. And I usually we have like a day off, a Sunday. And there were times where I would get up and I'd have breakfast, whatever I do. And then I go onto the computer and I feel like I don't really have anything else to do. Like, kind of like him. I'm just going to play like maybe 1 or 2 games. And you play 1 or 2 games and then instead of like going out and getting groceries or doing what you were going to do, that 2 or 3 games turns into 3 or 4. And that's a big difference. There's a big difference between 1 or 2 games and 3 and 4 games.
I mean, if you think about a game is technically 40 minutes to an hour, right? It's
Could be
a big
40
chunk of your day.
It's a big chunk of the day, right?
Yeah. You can do a lot in an hour.
Yeah. And so it's the 1 or 2 turning into 3 or 4. And then that's like could be a 3 to 4 hour chunk. And usually that's the exact same amount of time between like meals. So I've had breakfast, I've chilled a bit, now play 3 or 4 games, and then it's lunchtime already. And I resonate big time with the 2 things. There's 2 parts of that. One, I'm waiting on my phone, watching a stream, waiting for delivery. So there's actually so much wasted time there as well. Because you can't actually start a task. Because you know you got to eat and then you got to wait.
Because the delivery guy's going to be there. You can't jump out of your game.
And you don't want to cook food because it takes too long and you're just so excited about playing League again. So then whatever, you eat. And then you're full. and you want to. So your mind is telling you, what's the easiest thing I can do? Oh, might as well play another game of League. That resonated with me. Now, I've never been a gamer that's played late, though. I always call it quits. I just don't get addicted to League.
You're not up till like 4 a.m.
Never.
Yeah,
ever.
I've never probably played League past
I
1.
hate playing past like 9. I don't like playing late. I'm just not. This is not my type of. I'm not that type of person. But I think it shows how easy for me. Okay, the main takeaway for that one for me is how easy it is to press play again, queue up. That feeling of just bang, queue up. How easy it is. And super, super interesting. So I was actually talking to that Coach Ginseng guy. There's a fellow guy. He does like...
He knows.
He knows about... He does like psychology stuff. He's a uni student, I think. Some of that. And he developed this... He has a few coaching clients. And one thing that he did with one... I don't know if he does it with all of his coaching clients. He did it with one of his coaching clients he was telling me about where... Because a lot of people are addicted to League, what he would do is, after that game was done, he told the person to close the client. So there's no temptation of clicking play. And there's no temptation, and it's the actual mental side of it where I finished my game, I'm closing the client and getting into my review.
So that's more specific. Not he has to do a task. It's like about
the review. It's the review.
Okay.
And I think that is very important because you're differentiating. Okay, play, review, play, review, and I think that really allows your time, gives your brain time to just relax a little bit.
Well, it also
dies down
limits,
the dopamine.
My takeaway from that as well, just the self-talk you can have into giving you reasons, excuses to play the next game. I won. I lost. You see how you have an excuse for playing because you keep winning.
Yeah.
And
there's
when you lose,
always an excuse,
there's always an excuse you can come up with.
Humans are so good
at convincing ourselves to do shit.
Because humans are so good at convincing ourselves to do anything.
Yeah, that gives us the dopamine hits.
Insane. And
like going to the gym, going for a hike, like that takes energy and effort, dude.
That's so good.
You talk about this in terms of System 1 and System 2, in your video yesterday about autopiloting.
Yeah, I think that a big takeaway as well is I lost my train of thought. Sorry. I was talking about queuing up. Yeah, and one of the biggest things is, like you said, the review. What it does is it takes it away from the LP and the win and the loss.
Yeah.
It's like I'm going to review and look at it regardless.
No matter, because you have this feeling in your stomach where this is what it is for me sometimes when I review. I play a game, I'm like, I already know the mistakes, I just got to play again.
Yeah.
Versus like as much as it hurts to review, because that's what it hurts to look at the game.
It does, it hurts.
Because then you realize that, okay,
you could have been the contributing factor to lose that game. It hurts the ego.
It's painful.
No, but I find it liberating. For me personally.
Yeah. Once you do it enough, you find it liberating. But that's why I feel like no one reviews their games because it's too hard to get to that stage.
I can actually resonate because me and you, we never reviewed games back in the day, right?
Yeah, literally. My thought process would be I already know why I lost that game. Well, I mean, I blame myself. I didn't blame others though. But I knew why I lost the game. I was like, screw it. But I bet you I missed so much stuff.
100%. But I knew I was doing things wrong. But I was so addicted to queuing up again that I would find any reason just to queue up and not look at the review. I did that. I was the type of person that did not review. It actually took me quite a long time to actually get into the habit of reviewing. And I actually think you said that something I never really thought about. I think there is a barrier to you need to review X amount of times before you really start to see the benefit and the rewards of reviewing. Because
you don't. Yeah, and that's why it's so hard for people to review because people are like, well, let's say if they make basic mistakes, it's like, what's the point? I already know these mistakes, but you're getting into the habit. It's like, okay, these mistakes are happening a lot. Now start thinking about why do they keep happening?
Because you realize that it's less about the hurting your ego and you get more results from it. And it actually feels better knowing that you aren't... Because the worst thing about League is the victim feeling. It's the feeling that you feel helpless because you exit that game and you're like, I just have no idea what I could have done. Like my team just entered. I didn't know what to but when you start realizing how you contributed to that situation in the smallest, tiniest ways or opportunities that you missed, that's freeing because you're like, holy shit, that game was actually winnable. I could have played that. If I was Faker, I could have won that game. And that's liberating for me personally. And I think for a lot of people because you're just not a victim anymore. But the other thing is, before I lost my train of thought, I remembered it now.
Yeah.
When I have, say I'm doing working on videos for my channel, right? So usually with my schedule, like I spend the morning replying to Discord stuff. I might do 1 or 2 coaching sessions, and then I'll start to get into my preparation sometimes for videos. Sometimes I do my research, like I did for that Autopilot video, whether it's compiling clips, filtering through my reviews, jotting down ideas, getting my slides done, whatever it is. I actually cannot have the league client open. I've noticed there is a significant difference. 2 things. If I have the league client open, I am way more inclined just to check it. I'll just check it.
Just like your friends list, like
I don't know. I just click on it.
Do you
and I just look at it.
Do you go through like the play ranked and then you?
I look at my rank sometimes, just admire my rank. Straight up, I'm not even joking. I'll just look at my rank and like
just go play.
No, you know what I do.
What do? You go profile ranked. Look at the ladder.
Yeah, I'll look at the ladder, see who's people playing. And what I also do. This is actually I can't believe I'm admitting this. I literally do this.
Yeah.
Remember Fantix in season 7? How he was obsessed with OPGG? I'm obsessed.
Oh, really? You're addicted.
I'm addicted to OPGG.
What do you do? What do you do on it?
I know every solo queue player in like, I know the top probably 200-300 solo queue players in OS.
Yeah.
I know what champions they play. I know what time of the day they play.
So you're looking at it.
I just know everyone. I just know how they win games. Like I just get obsessed. Who's playing now? Who's going to win this game? Like sometimes I'll have like 5 OPGs open and see all the active games.
Really?
And I'll just refresh to see the result of them.
Really?
I love it, dude. I love seeing who wins or what are they playing. Why are they playing that champion?
Who's
doing? I like to see who's doing. Yeah, I do this.
I didn't know that.
I never told anyone.
I've never done that.
I'm obsessed. I know everything. And the reason is now I love it. I'm obsessed. And now that.
Do you think it's beneficial or not? I mean, you're collecting a lot of information that can help you.
Yeah, it helps me 100% because I know how people win, and I know.
Is that only important for Halo, or should we recommend?
No, this is only Halo. Okay. No way. Yeah.
Well, I think that's important to differentiate because a lot of people are addicted to like those professor things and that sort of stuff.
Oh no, this doesn't mean. Yeah, this is only specific to because I verse these players. I know exactly who I'm versing.
Yeah.
And I like to see, what's Shock playing, what's Get Back playing, what's this guy playing, what's Kisei playing. Oh, he's been playing this matchup and he's struggling in these matchups. Like I don't know, it's not that it changes my strategy because I still have the same champion pool, but it's just I just find it really interesting and I like keeping up to date with the meta. And I do that with Korean solo queue. I have like a folder of all the top.
That's good. That's
Korean solo queue ones.
Yeah. Well, OPG is a fantastic tool, no doubt about
definitely.
It. It's a fantastic tool.
But anyway, getting into that routine all stems from clicking on the league client. This is how it works. So step number 1, league client's open.
Yeah.
Whether I get a message from someone, I get a friend request.
So it's like a little notification thing.
Something will happen.
Messaging me.
I'll click it. Yeah. And then that leads me to click the profile to see if I'm still ranked 15.
Yeah.
And then
that leads to OPGG.
And I'm like, I wonder who's playing. And I'll go through some high elo games. Like, he's playing. Oh, interesting. Who's going to win that one? Who's climbing? Who's having a lot of success in solo queue? Why is that the case? And what champions are they playing? And then I'll go over. Then it might lead me to interesting. He's going that room page. I wonder what that guy in over Korea now. Because what actually happened is I saw like one player in OS playing Yone. And I'm like, okay, interesting. What builds and runes are they doing over in Korea? And I found UCal. UCal on Yone is doing static shiv, not PD anymore, and doing this different build. I'm like, he's actually having a lot of success and I just study what the meta is, and I noticed that like the Galio player as well in Challenger, he's gone back to using Aftershock a lot. I keep up to date with the top 10 players in Korean Challenger solo queue all the time and see what they play and why they play, like how they're having success. I literally go on this hole and I can just waste 45 minutes, bang. And then I'm like, fuck, I should have gone back. I should have been working on these slides. Then I go back to
so the whole time you should have been working. How much do you reckon that time is? How long does that process go for? 20 minutes?
That process goes for about 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
I think 30 to 40 minutes, I'd say. Because I go down a hole. Because then sometimes even if my procrastination is really bad, I'll then look at like a replay of that matchup. So for example, like there's times where like say I saw like a Galio, he took like X rune or Yone took X rune into this matchup, and I like want to learn more about it. So then I'll type in YouTube how that matchup and find the matchup and just like observe it and just like, what does he do in that matchup? And this has helped me get a really good understanding of matchups, very in detail micro stuff about mid lane matchups. And I just go on a rabbit hole, dude. And it's the exact same with Discord. I found if I have the icon with Discord there, if I don't close my Discord, I will check my Discord a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely fall into that trap, especially like with my coaching clients, my solo queue. Like if I'm solo queue, I just get rid of Discord. Just have to close it.
You have to. Yeah, it's so hard.
But it's so good because then you physically can't click on it. You have to like go through a whole process. You got to double click on it, versus like, I'll get a notification. Notifications is the most dangerous thing.
Yeah, I have streamer mode always on Discord.
Yeah.
I never have not streamer mode on Discord. So I never get any notifications.
Doesn't it come up? Oh no, because I have 2 screens. So like, I would always have Discord.
I never have it open on the other screen.
Okay, yeah. So I'll close that. So then there's no other possibility. Yeah.
Well, that's actually why. I mean, I deleted Twitter off my phone for like a month ago now, and it's actually been so healthy for me.
Yeah,
it's hugely healthy for me.
Yeah. I didn't do Twitter for a long time.
It's actually awesome now. I actually feel like I'm a healthy user of Twitter.
Yeah, because you only check it on your desktop periodically.
Yeah, exactly. Rather than
the phone's the most dangerous.
The phone's the most toxic thing to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, we went on a bit of a rabbit hole there, but anyway, I did think that post is awesome, by the way, and I think that. I mean, I don't know, and I actually said this because so interesting. Oh, sorry, one thing before you go into this, it's related to the addiction part.
Yeah,
I got a message from. I'm not going to say his name from the Discord, and he was telling me how he doesn't get to play League much. Okay, so whether he works a full-time job, I'm assuming, and he doesn't have much time to play League, and he comes home and he's really excited to play the game, and he has this problem. He's telling me, Curtis, I can't dodge. I can't physically bring myself to dodge a game, even though I know. The chances of me winning this game are so slim.
Because, and the psychology around that is because you don't want to waste. You're so angry that someone is like going to have to waste your time. You don't want to be the one to dodge.
I don't even think it's angry. All it is he creates any narrative in his brain.
So maybe we could win this.
To convince himself to not dodge and to play that game. And he says it's actually...
But why?
Because I feel the reason why for him is because he's got the pressures that he doesn't have much time.
He doesn't have time, yeah.
And I told him, I don't know. And I feel like I've done this in the past where... When I was addicted to League, more when I was like 18 and stuff like that, I wouldn't dodge either. I would hate dodging, and I would just play. And I played those unwinnable games. I lost them. I knew they were unwinnable, but I would play them anyway. I was just too stubborn to dodge. When it's just a complete waste of time. Now, it brought me to a thing saying I actually don't have the knowledge. I'm not like I haven't really studied properly. I'm not like a medical person. I'm not a psychologist, whatever. I don't know how to deal with addiction. And that's something I need to learn more about, how to deal with addiction, addictive tendencies. But what I suggested was this. The reason he is still queuing up and play, I think, I'm not saying the only reason, one of the reasons he is still actively playing without dodging is because he doesn't see value in anything he can do while in queue or while waiting for that timer. If you can convince yourself or find things to do while in queue or while that timer is on that equally contribute to improvement or fun rather than just playing the game, you will be much more incentivized to dodge. For example, whether that's looking over specific replays of the matchup on YouTube, whether it's looking at your own VODs, whether it's playing LOL Dodge Game, whether it's watching your favorite high elo streamer playing some champs that you like, whatever it is. There's things you can do that is still going to help you improve that aren't directly playing League of Legends. And I think that he needs to find things or a system to go through so he doesn't just feel like he's just going to waste time if he dodges. I mean, that's one of my proposed solutions. That's all I have right now.
Yeah, I think that's the key term there is not finding anything valuable to do to help you. I mean, but what's his goal? Is his goal to improve? He wants to get better at the game?
Yeah,
or
he's genuinely trying to improve.
Okay, well then, he should definitely look for...
He doesn't just play for fun.
Improve, yeah. Because, but even then, like, if you got, like, obvious trolls on your team, like, I found that it's you got to think of the long-term investment of that dodge. Like, even the LP loss, like, you could be stuck in that game, being, held hostage for 20, 30 minutes versus just dodge, get into a better game, and, like, you're really only losing 10 minutes.
Not even.
I mean, I think about my queue times.
Well,
but.
it's like you said. What I said in the coin flip video. It's not that you're actually down. You have to win 2 games. You're down 2 games.
That's right. You're down 2 games.
In order to climb, you have to win 2 games.
It's big.
So you have to get one game that is still a 40% that's in your control, or another 30%. So there's a 30% chance that you lose again, and then you have to win 3 games.
Yeah. No, then that's suddenly 4 games now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's anyway. Dodge. You got to dodge some games. Like, because you have these games where he had like a Vega Soraka bot lane and like a Yasuo top and stuff. He's just never going to win, Anyway,
So that story right there, Curtis. So he's an addict to League of Legends
That's
because,
correct.
and the definition of an addict is someone that is purposely but not purposely avoiding responsibilities.
have you Googled this?
I haven't Googled it. I'm just pulling it.
I don't know. You should probably Google the definition of an addict.
I'll do that right now.
Do that right now because it's probably worth looking at because I actually don't know what the definition of an addict is. But that guy seems to me. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that is probably actually the majority of people playing the game. By the way,
Okay, addiction. The fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance or activity. That's not really helpful.
that's not helpful at all.
What is the true meaning of addiction? Means compulsive psychological need for and use of habit-forming substance, characterized by tolerance and well-defined psychological symptoms upon withdrawal. So that's like saying stuff like
Yeah.
if you don't do it, like
Yeah,
you feel like
you're gonna feel something. He might not be actually addicted.
Yeah, maybe it's not,
Maybe
you
he's
know?
not at that level yet. But maybe he genuinely is like. I don't know. It seems a little bit.
that's the way I always thought of it. It's like you're literally. But then the counter argument to that, like my definition, right? Let's say if you're intentionally doing
Dr.
things.
Nathan.
I mean, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
call myself a doctor
Yeah.
yet. This is like my little theory, my head that I sit, shower thoughts.
Yeah.
So that there's someone that is, subconsciously, I guess, avoiding responsibilities. Like he said, he wanted to go for a hike and gym.
Yeah, you're
to improve
consciously
yourself.
in the face of knowing that you should be doing something else, but you're actively self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
to do it.
Well, because then people will say, there's nothing for me to do.
Yeah.
So let's say if he didn't even plan to go hiking and stuff like that. You have
Yeah.
nothing else to do. So it's like,
Well, actually,
do you need time to start thinking about things? Because let's say if you do this for months and years, these could be opportunities where you start learning a new craft, like graphic design or.
and again, man, this is where schedule just comes into play.
Scheduling.
Scheduling comes into play because you don't have the option. In a schedule, it is what it is.
So,
I love when Jocko Willing puts it like discipline equals freedom.
yeah.
Because there's nothing to think about. That's just what's happening. That's the benchmark. That's just it. There's no if buts about it.
All right, so let's do let's say the most disciplined person in the world, right? Okay, let's
Jocko Willing.
Let's try and do. Well, no, not specifically Jocko Willing because he's
Okay.
literally just a complete outlier.
Okay.
But let's say something that's actionable. Let's say like a 19, 20-year-old. Okay,
Okay.
or like this guy, right?
Yeah.
So let's say let's preface by saying he doesn't want to be a pro player. He just plays league.
Just plays for fun.
Plays for fun, but maybe he wants to improve and
Okay.
reaches a goal. Okay.
Well, we'd say that's the most common type of player where they want to play to improve, but they're not overly serious about it. But they do want to get better at the game.
Okay. Let's say this person he's currently, let's say, studying something.
Okay.
He's not really sure if he wants to do it for the rest of his life.
Yep.
And he like doesn't really have like that many other skills. Like maybe he works a job or something like that.
Okay.
Actually, let's say he doesn't work a job.
Okay, so he doesn't work a job. He's a uni student. Maybe he studies 5 days a week.
5
He has
days
a
a-
weekend off.
Yeah.
And he's got a bit of free time.
Yeah. Like let's say he's got actually a pretty significant free time
Okay,
because
he's
it's
got
like online classes and like
So he's
that.
essentially got a lot of free time, and he's got this entire weekend to himself.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a girlfriend. Has plenty of time here.
He has some friends he could maybe socialize with.
He has a lot of friends. Yep.
So what's the perfect schedule? Like okay,
Well-
with the intention of like I don't know, getting your life together or
But you
making sure
can't
you
have
don't.
a schedule on a weekend. I mean, on a weekend.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. Let's just go for let's do like a Monday.
A Monday.
Okay, let's start with a Monday for example.
Right.
So this is the way I think of it. Okay.
What's your ideal day?
Yeah. What's an ideal day? Okay. So let's say gamers give or take we like to go to sleep pretty late, right? So let's say, well again depending on class, but let's say he starts later that day, right? Goes to sleep 4 a.m. wakes up 4 a.m.
4
That's pretty
a.m.?
ridiculous.
What the
Well, that's what he
hell?
talked about in that story.
No, then that's ridiculous. The guy for starters should not be going to bed at 4
Okay,
a.m.
so that's probably
You
first
should be
step.
going to bed at a reasonable time. Yes,
Okay.
COVID, you can do later. Let's just say he goes to bed at midnight.
Okay, no, 1 a.m. Let's have 1 a.m. I feel like gamer schedule's
That's
better
ridiculous still.
like that. Okay, wakes
Okay.
up. So let's say 8 hours sleep. He gets up at 9.
9. Okay.
Wakes up at 9. Does some, checks like, some social media or sort of stuff. Has breakfast, gets ready. Let's say
Yep.
we're about 10, 10:30. Goes online to do some like classwork for his uni course about, 1:30, has lunch. He's like, okay, I'll play some games.
You don't have to remember. You don't have to attend lectures live. I'm pretty sure they're all recorded.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, again, we're assuming that everything's
Okay.
recorded.
Let's. I think we should approach this another way.
Okay.
I would say that I have pretty good. I'm not saying my schedule is perfect, but I would say I'm pretty experienced with really maximizing a day for high performance. I swear, at some points during my time as a head coach, I could not be more efficient.
Yeah,
This is something I actively
Yeah,
did.
because this is what I don't want to talk about, because you know what you're doing.
Right.
So this is why people get into this trap, is
Because they don't know what to do.
Yeah, they don't have much
Yeah,
direction.
I want to give you the fundamentals here.
Okay.
I'm not talking about my schedule.
Let's talk about best case scenario then.
Let's talk about the fundamentals
Okay.
that you can apply to your day.
Yeah.
So this is where I learned this from. You want to do the most intensive, they call it deep work, at the beginning of the day.
Because that's when you're most focused.
That's when you have you're the most sharp. Okay, so whatever requires the most attention, whatever requires your most focus, you should be doing it at the beginning of the day. Okay, so this is where you get up. Ideally, as well, if you do exercise, you have two choices. I mean, I'm actually conflicted about exercise in terms of morning, because my ideal schedule is I wait for my breakfast to digest, then I go work out, because that's when I'm the strongest, because my food is actually digested. I actually found going to the gym, even though it feels nice before I eat, and it's a very, very start of the day, 6, 7 a.m., whatever it is, I'm actually less strong. So if you want to build muscle, I'm not like a personal trainer or anything, but in my experience, I just for myself, I felt stronger after having food in my system. Anyway, the thought process you should have anyways, deep work at the beginning of the day at all costs. And then progressively, you do less and less intensive work. Now, avoid very easy things. Avoid doing answering emails, replying to stupid messages, doing very basic level remedial tasks, very simple basic tasks. Do them way later on. I would try to avoid checking emails, do any of that stuff till 2-3 p.m. where I've already done all my best work. It's like that Lex dude, his schedule is deep work for 3 hours in the morning, 3-4 hours into exercise in the middle, because he did intermittent fasting, I'm pretty sure, throughout the middle of the day, and then another deep work, and then after he's working out, he showered in the middle of the day as well to refresh with exercise, and then to another work session, and then at the end of the day he did all the very light stuff, light reading, very light study, emails, social media, all at the end of the day. And I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. Now, another fundamental that really helped me in terms of structuring a day is, again, similar to League, the small things add up. What I realized, there's two things. These are two things I was trying to figure out. I was trying to figure out how I could have more relaxation time and have more focused work. Because I felt like I just didn't have enough time in the day. And what I realized, I had these times during the day where I called them transition periods, where let's just say I was getting out of bed, woke up in the morning. I would spend, maybe sometimes 10, 15 minutes on my phone in bed. That's 15 minutes gone. Then I would go have breakfast. And sometimes I would listen to a podcast and have breakfast. And then my breakfast would actually be extended, because I might sit around for another 10 minutes and watch a little bit, listen a bit more to the podcast. And then then I went to work. Then instead of going straight from work into eating, maybe I would hang around a little bit, talk to a few people, listen to a podcast, drift around a little bit, then eat. Then again, there was these things, transition periods between my parts of the day.
Up your day.
And they ate up my day. And I added them up. By the end of the day, I was wasting around 2 hours, sometimes around 2 hours of just 15-minute blocks of just dead time, where it wasn't actually contributing to my happiness. It wasn't actually contributing to me feeling well rested. And I would wait, and I realized if I get rid of all of that, I wake up instantly, I do this, I can finish my work earlier, and then I have an extra 2 hours to chill and literally do whatever I want with no guilt. I can play PUBG for 2 hours if I want to at the end of the day without feeling terrible or without having to go to bed at 3 a.m.
Well, because you scheduled in that light. I mean, that's relaxation time. You can
That's
do whatever
pure
you want.
relaxation
Okay.
time.
So let's say advice for this guy then, right? And again, let's say that he doesn't. Again, I want to keep putting the frame. It's like where you don't really have. I don't want to say direction, but like you're not like really passionate about one thing, or like you don't have like clear responsibilities.
Jesus has shit that he has to do.
She has to do, but he doesn't have clear. He's like he doesn't have to.
He
do
doesn't
it,
have to.
you know?
Yeah.
So, given the deep work thing, like and I always think about this, like you've got to sort of just spend your time figuring out something to do with your life. Like, what do you like? You might not figure it out in the first like years. You know, it takes years to do that. But scheduling some time, and again, I think going back to the schedule, maybe in the morning, to just it doesn't have to be you just sit there and think it's like what do I want to do with my life. It's like try and do some things like inspiration. Like I think reading helps. Yeah. It really helps me like think about things and potential ways I can navigate things.
Something interesting, like a unique hobby.
Yeah, like
an instrument, learning a language.
Yeah.
That Lex guy here as well plays guitar for his relaxation period in the middle of the day for like half an hour.
There's that Udemy website, right, where it's like little like mini courses and stuff like that you can buy. They're really cheap, like $5-10.
Yeah.
What happens if you just go on that and you just every day you do one Udemy course?
You know how much money I would give to go back in time to when I was 18?
Yeah.
When I had fuckloads of free time? If I had an entire summer holiday, holy
what would you do, Curtis?
Shit,
well,
dude.
Curtis, what do you mean? You had summer holidays. You played video games all day.
Exactly, but I would have just done so many more hobbies. I would have just... And like, I just wasted so much time by playing shitty games as well. I played Guild Wars. I played Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I wasted time on Counter-Strike. You and your shitty World of Warcraft.
Dude, that was... I don't regret that at all.
I mean, okay. I don't regret my time playing League of Legends. Okay. Although I could have played I think I regret...
You probably wasted a lot of time.
I wasted a lot of playing... Yes.
Because we didn't have the knowledge we have today.
I autopiloted an unbelievable amount of League of Legends games.
Yeah, I've autopiloted thousands of games as well.
Okay, so anyway, that aside...
Yeah.
Dude, I regret just not, just like literally sitting down with myself and just realizing how beautiful the world is and how many interesting skills that you can develop. I would whether it's learn a language, I would, learn an instrument. I would learn piano. Yeah, coding or like
graphic design.
Or poetry, getting into reading biographies of successful people or interesting people or learning how to, whatever it is. I would go into another world. I would let my mind just get absorbed in a new craft.
So why didn't you?
I had no insight. No one was... I mean, I was just wake up, game. I literally didn't think. I swear to God, I was autopiloting through life.
Yeah. I mean, me playing World of Warcraft as well. It's like it's just the most fun thing for me to do. I'm just going to do that
exactly.
right now.
There was no thinking about the future. There was no thinking about what type of person I might want to be. There was no thinking about how I could use my time efficiently and effectively. There was no thinking about being grateful for having this time right now to do something with it. It was just pure, like, this makes me feel good, I'm going to do it.
But you still want to play games, right?
Oh, yeah, dude, 100%.
So let's say your summer holiday, what would it look like?
My days.
3 hours in the morning of, like, reading, deep work, figuring things out?
It might even just be at the beginning
like
an hour,
minutes,
an hour and a half.
Okay.
Not even an hour.
Yeah.
1 hour.
And then you could still play a lot of League.
Oh, shit ton of League.
It's pretty true when you think about it.
I mean, I would also way earlier get into gym.
Yeah. Yeah, you talk about that.
I would have got into gym. That's hard for me, and it's hard for us. It's easy to say that now. It's very hard. I can understand why people don't. But that is something I would have 100% done. I would have dedicated gym no matter what. And I would have, again, spent time. That's 2 hours potentially gone. An hour at the gym and an hour at whatever my craft is. And just honing in on it.
That's 2-3 hours of the day, which is like not really a big chunk, but you've probably done some serious work there instead of playing...
Yeah, man. And then you'll feel better.
Feel better, yeah.
You'll be, and the great thing about exercise, why it's actually so good, is that it prevents you from staying up late because you're too tired.
Literally.
So it actually helps you maintain a normal schedule.
Well, it's more efficient as well because you can get to sleep real easily.
And sleep quicker.
That's the thing that I've found. Like, I've never really experienced this myself because I've always been a very quickly go to sleep. But people say like, oh, like I can't go to sleep, so I'll just play another game. Like, I'm not tired.
Or they just lie in bed on their phones for like 2 hours because I can't sleep. 100%, dude. Very common.
All right, so let's now get into the specific. I want to talk about specifically scheduling your time for League of Legends. What would that look like between games and reviews, right? I've always thought that, this is what I've experimented with, this year. I experimented with it a little bit, but I should have done it more. 5 games a day. That's it. no more, no less. So 5 games of really intense, fully 110% focused games. All I think what I was doing is all in a row. So 5 games in a row. Like I'd schedule it from like 1 to like 6, and then like have dinner at 6, and I like have lunch, get into it, 6, and then dinner. Right. So it's like intense. So it's like okay, watch VODs before. So just like while in queue, just sit there, watch some VODs. From like what I did is sometimes I watch the VODs from the before, or my own gameplay. Okay. Play game, review. Play game, review for 5 times.
In your reviews, how long does your reviews take?
My reviews would take I always would say I want to get them as short as possible. I have like a terrible narrative of this game, so then I can sort of try and remember it. Versus like this is the mistake. It's like, okay, I didn't play around this win condition correctly.
So you try to get the main.
I try not to overcomplicate things,
right?
Because I could say 1,000 things wrong.
Yeah, you could say 1,000 things, right?
But I try and be like, okay, this game here, this makes sense here.
Because this is what... But are you trying to look for the same things in each game? Are you trying to find the trends? Like, what are you trying to do?
I don't know. I think this is maybe a flaw in my review process. I don't know. This is what I was doing. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like, what do you think the best, like, schedule... Is it 5 games? Is it 3 games? Is it 10 games? Is it 5 game block, then 5 game block, or 3 game block, 3 game block?
I mean, my hunch, and what I tell people, I just don't see. I don't see how you can do more than 3 or 4 games.
Straight, fully 110% focused.
Yeah, I really don't. If you are really focused, I think 3 to 4 is like very solid with reviews in between, and then take a break and then come back. I think you should be doing, if for maximum optimal practice, if you really want to be good at the game, is 2 blocks a day of 3 to 4
games. To get specific, 3 or 4, Curtis.
I think it depends on... No, but the reason I say 3 or 4 is because you can have like a 15-minute open.
Okay.
If you have 3 40-minute games, you're not going to play 4.
Only 3. So pretty much 3, but 4 if you've got like
4 if you had one of those games is like you barely had to think. You know, sometimes they're an open, sometimes they're a 15-minute, sometimes they're an AFK.
So are you scheduling it based on hours or games here?
Games.
Because I think that's dangerous. Because then that's not sticking to a schedule, though, Curtis. That's inconsistency.
Yeah, but you can't.
What happens if you just do 3 no matter what?
Because I just think you could play more if you have 3 20-minute games. It's likely that you're going to have 3 20-minute. You can play way more than 3 25-minute games. You can definitely play. That's where you could even go 4-5, but I'm capping it at 4.
Yeah.
You know? Especially nowadays, if you're in high elo, sometimes, like for me, one of my challenger games, some of them I come out exhausted. I played a 35-minute game. A 36-minute game is Cassiopeia, where I had to farm at 9 CS per minute. I'm exhausted. Maybe it's because I'm old. It's because I'm a boomer. I don't know what it is, but I'm exhausted. I use so much mental, like brain power. Yeah. I'm exhausted. But if I'm just chilling on stream, I can play like 5 or 6 games in a row, but I'm playing sloppy as well. It depends on the amount of focus as well. That's why I think if for optimal focus, playing at your best, I can't see more than 4.
Okay.
I can't.
All right. So 2, 3, or 4 blocks, and then what do you do in between the break?
So if you're, I think there are some people though that can actually do 3 blocks a day. If you structure well, if you have a very good schedule, you could probably do 3 blocks a day. Yeah. You play around 9 to 10, 11 games a day. That's where you would have like 3 or 4 break, maybe exercise in the middle of the day. 3 or 4, break, dinner, chill, whatever, bang, again. That's what I think. If I were to go to Korea, that's what I would do. If I were to go to Korea, I'd do 3 or 4 and 3 blocks a day. But most people, they're going to only do 1 or 2.
So, well, I mean, because that's your intention is to be the best at your craft, right? But for the average person, right? Like,
even if you could do... I don't think you can improve that well if you are doing less
so that's the question,
than 1 block. Like, you have to at least do 3 or 4 games a day, ranked.
Yeah.
It's like intense.
Yep.
Below that, you're not improving.
Yeah.
And we're not even talking normals here. We're talking intense ranked games.
That's right.
That's optimal improvement.
I would agree with you there.
And my reviews I do my reviews just different to you. I mean...
Maybe is that because you're mid lane, jungle? Or?
Yeah, maybe the roles are just different. I mean, I'm obsessed about finding trends in my gameplay. I'm obsessed about finding what's really contributing to my wins and losses. And I generally find I generally find trends, specifically with my deaths. I find trends.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I'd do the exact same. I mean, I would end a review based on a death.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like this game would have been free win if I just played this better.
Yeah. For me, though, when I lose games, it's very rarely multiple things. Maybe just because that's just the level I'm at, though.
Yeah.
So I think it's very different to lower elo players, Nathan. We've got to be careful. Because as a lower elo, say you're a gold player or a platinum player, and you die, or like let's say you play a game, you're so overwhelmed with what you could take from that VOD. Like you did so many things wrong. You're so overwhelmed. And that's where things get tricky. And this is something I have to figure out. I don't know the order. And it's so hard for me to say what's the priority of your focus without seeing the game. For some people, they're actually good at CSing for some reason, but they lose games because they get ahead and they give their bounties over and lose in mid game. For some people, their landing is just incredibly inconsistent and they just lose trades. Or some of them, their trading is actually good, their CXing is good, but their warding and their map awareness is like beyond dog shit. So I can't tell this stuff without actually looking at it. And then again, this really comes down to the person's ability to be able to review. And I don't know if all these are wrong. I can't tell you what the order is. But my hunch, it's very simple fundamentals like CSing and trading first.
Have you fundamentals, CSing and trading first. Have you ever coached someone or seen someone in gold where you say like, oh, that guy's map awareness is really good? Because I think I've never seen that.
No, I haven't. I wouldn't say it's really. I would say someone with. I would say someone's. I've had players that are definitely reasonable map awareness, and it's not the reason they're losing.
Yeah.
Like I had this one guy recently, and he was quite aware. And he was going to every fight, but he didn't know how to bring about favorable situations for his champion. Like he was playing Swain.
He wasn't playing the fights correctly.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't know what he needed to do to bring about, like. Because for Swain, for example, you need a call for in the future for what you need.
Yeah,
like you're a champion that has no proactivity, and the only proactive thing you can do is call for dragons.
You want people to come to you, right? Yeah.
If you're not like actively thinking about where you need to be in the future, you just lose slowly.
Yeah.
Same with like Vlad and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was kind of like an outlier, I would say. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's rare that someone has good map awareness is in gold. Because I think good map awareness alone would probably get you to platinum.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. So, like, I think, is that a fundamental as well?
But again, these are things that are just theories. I haven't been coaching long enough to actually know this stuff. And I was actually one of the things I was going to bring up today. So I did a coaching session this morning. And you know, sometimes when you coach, I don't know if you've had this feeling where you look at someone's gameplay and you just realize how many things, you get caught off guard by how many elements of the game are just muscle memory to you. Something I just took for granted, and I haven't really, and I don't talk about this enough, is just like, I know intuitively, without even really paying attention, how fast a minion is dying.
Yeah.
So I don't have to think.
Yeah.
And the reason that's important is because if I know that this minion's dying really slow, so I don't need to worry about that. So I can focus on going for a trade now. So now all my attention's focusing on a trade. Then if I know a minion's actually dying really fast, I'll begin to position way earlier. Because then I realized people were positioning way too like defensively.
Yeah.
And I asked him like, why are you doing this? And I asked him like, where's your attention focused? And he's like, oh yeah, I just didn't think that minion was going to die that fast. Because he's not looking at like where the minions are in relation to the enemy minions, and not understanding that it's like it's a range creep, and range creeps have low HP values, so they die very quick, and all these things. Yeah. And this was intuitive.
I would say that I struggle. I actually get frustrated with my clients when I see things that because again that I take for granted. Yeah. I'm like it's so easy. Just come on.
Yeah. And how do I articulate it?
How do I teach it?
Because how do I teach that?
The biggest one I see is just the way you approach a gank. Sometimes it's just like they're approaching from the wrong angle.
Why would you see it like this? Yeah.
It's like, well, what's going on here?
Well, this is where I think as well, there just has to be a minimum amount of games played. Like when I get an OPGG and it has less than 300 ranked games played this season, it's just like, it doesn't really matter what I say. Like what I say is, yes, I could put you in the right direction, but it doesn't matter because you're just not playing enough of the game. Like 300 games is less than one game a day in a year. You know, if you're serious about climbing in the game, you need to at least... Like 300 is just to see where you're at. That's just to get to where you're at. That's just to be comfortable playing the game. Then once you get to 300, like
So given your model, let's say of at least 4 games a day to improve.
yeah, you would be playing what's that? About 1,200 games roughly.
Well, I'm just saying how much you would need to get to your baseline of 300, right?
How many days is that? Will that take? With 300 divided by 4, what's that?
I don't do mathematics that way, Curtis, but I'd say
It's
3
about
months.
7, 4. It's around 70.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense.
70 some days.
yeah. So
70-ish days.
less than 3 months.
Yes. Yeah. No, around 3 months.
Yeah.
Over 3 months. Just over 3 months. Oh, no, you're right.
No,
Yeah,
less,
sorry,
because
just
70
over 2
days.
months. Yeah.
So 70 days.
Just over 2
So,
months.
yeah, I'd say 1,200 games in a season. You could really get good at the game.
Very good at the game.
Yeah.
Very good. But then what's weird though, dude. I literally looked at an OPGG recently.
Of very focused non-autopiloting 1,200 games.
Because I have a guy on my Patreon.
Yeah.
I looked at his OPG. He said he's been struggling at the moment. And he's Diamond 4, I think. Diamond 4. And I think he dropped recently from Diamond 2 to Diamond 4. And he's in Anivia. He's a big Anivia player. I think he's borderline Anivia one trick. And he has 2,400 ranked games played this season.
Wow.
I think 200. It was either 2,200 or 2,400.
Did you speak to him? Like, what's he
We
struggling
just talked
with?
to him. Oh, it's just like, I mean...
What's he thinks his problems are?
Well, he just thinks... He's just kind of complaining to me that he thinks he's on like a... Like, he doesn't know how to like... Like, he says the enemy just keeps roaming and exploding the side lanes. But I broke down, like... I looked at his OBG and he doesn't take aggressive enough setup with Anivia to prevent the enemy from roaming.
Got it.
He takes TP. It's actually not what you want to be doing. The best Anivias actually don't take TP. They either take like exhaust or ignite.
Really?
Yeah, we got a challenger.
Go for solo
There's a
queue.
challenger one trick
Solo kill.
Anivia in our server.
Fascinating.
And he goes ignites or basically
Yeah.
exhaust every game. And he plays super aggressive with electrocute and tries to one shot you at level 3.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's oppressive.
Yeah.
And it actually counters a lot of
Yeah.
melees.
Yeah.
Even though you would think that Anivia is like this scaling. No,
Yeah.
it's actually not the case at all. He just one shots you, dude. Anyway, I got into the details with him, what potentially would be going wrong. And it got me thinking, like, how does this guy play 2,400 games and he's only like D4? And it shows. I've seen players with, again, thousands of games and they're still platinum because they're just autopilot. And I looked at his account. He's literally been game after game after game after game.
With no schedule.
And I
there's no
told him
schedule.
it's ridiculous. I told him,
Yeah.
you're not reviewing games.
Yeah.
You cannot be playing that many games and say if you've reviewed 2,400 games, you'd be a genius, dude. You'd be better than me. Anyway. So yeah, it's not just purely the amount of games played, but there is a baseline. There's a threshold. There's definitely a threshold you need to meet. Does that cover it for schedule? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, I'd say...
I mean, I think this is something we're going to have to revisit again and again. This is not like we're learning. We're trying to learn how reviews should be conducted, what you need to look at differing ranked. I mean, we need to really go deep here. And we're still figuring it out. I call myself, I call myself a full-time professional coach, but I'm not saying I have all the answers because the game is still new. It's only 10 years old. I've only been doing coaching probably for like 4 years now. I'm still just trying to figure this out. It's going to take me years and years and years to get better at my craft. That's fine. It's all good. I'm not saying here I know everything, but I would say there's a lot of things here that would put you in the right direction for sure.
Let's just pose a question. I want to hear from our loyal listeners.
You mean not yours, ours?
Did I say
You said mine.
Did I really?
It's not all yours, Nathan.
That's not very characteristic
I
of
know.
me, Curtis.
What's going on, Nathan?
All right, the loyal listeners of Broken by Concepts, our podcast.
Yeah.
What has there been a schedule that's worked for you? I want to hear that. Schedule that's worked for you that maybe not doesn't necessarily show like a lot of improvement, but you felt good on this schedule. It's like, oh, okay, this feels pretty good. I could do other things with my day as well.
And just a little note here, guys. Listen to yourself. What feels good for you? We're not all the same. There are some people that can play
10, 15 games
They
a day.
can.
And just being
There
insane
are
with it.
others
Well, that's
that
what they do.
can't.
That's pretty much everyone's become pro players. That's how I became a pro player, just doing mindless solo queue. I mean, again, I don't know if that's the most optimal. That's the way I did it. Well, that's the way a lot of Chinese players, Korean players do it. You know?
But that time, I mean, but before we move on to that, there's one thing that I kind of feel with that though. The spamming games is
Yeah.
you got to all in on either way. like you're either all inning on that.
We're all in on a really good schedule.
Yeah,
and
like you
reviewing
don't do
games.
half-ass. You're all in on either of them. Like I feel like what was it when you told me that once? You like all in on either. You said that in reference to something.
Did I?
I can't remember what it was. I think that was in reference to scrims.
Oh, that's scrims. Yeah, that was about the solo queue versus scrims.
Yeah,
thing.
if you want,
that was about the solution to one of the solutions to NA fixing.
if you want to do scrims, you should just literally all in on. Don't do any reviews and just play 9 scrims a day.
Oh yeah. The philosophy of throw enough shit at a wall, eventually it will stick. Yeah.
Just all in on that identity.
Yeah.
We'll probably talk about that in a bit, whether we do it this episode or another episode. So I got a few things here, riffing off that one. I want to talk about duoing.
DuoQ.
I want to talk
So
about
we
DuoQ.
duoed last night on your stream, Curtis.
We did.
It was we started off, I was very frustrated at you. You were playing like absolute shit.
No, I think that's a really good example, though. I genuinely wasn't playing well.
Yeah.
Some days that happens.
Yeah.
You're going to have these days where you just don't play well.
But does that count, Curtis? Because we're in Diamond. You're literally ranked 15 challenger.
Yeah, it just shows.
Shouldn't you have the muscle memory?
Dude, I was tired.
You're tired? You were distracted by Twitch chat?
I'm tired. I'm streaming. I was playing matchups that were actually very hard mechanically. And I was literally Zach Yasuo, Zach Yona. It's so hard for Cassio.
Yeah, okay.
So if I lose focus once, it's snowball. The game's over.
Yeah.
It's not the same as other matchups. Like Yasuo is actually these are pretty big counters to Cassio in the early game. And if you could die in the early game, and that was Halo. That wasn't Diamond players.
Oh, really?
That was Halo, dude.
Oh, really?
It's
I didn't know
pro
that.
player, dude.
Oh.
He's been in China.
Oh.
The Yasuo was Halo.
Ah,
That's
okay.
why he was very good.
Yeah.
So Halos is he's like a kind of like a pro player, and he was with Legacy. He just came back from the Chinese super server
From Worlds.
and he's climbing back to Challenger.
Yeah.
That was that. So he's on a Smurf.
Got it.
So I was wondering why that Yasuo was so good. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were duo queuing, and I didn't play too well, but there definitely was a contributing factor, and this always happens. I would say pretty much every single time I duo or either play Clash. This is one of the many reasons I believe DuoQ is terrible for all ranks.
Go on.
For me, I make differing decisions that I wouldn't make otherwise if I was solo queue. Now, there was a few situations last night that we were in. One of them was where I was playing Cassiopeia into Yone, and I believe I built a wave, and I was heavy trading with his Yone. And in any other situation, I would have just recalled. It's fine, got a decent recall. I believe the next wave was a cannon wave. I would have just recalled because I don't need to force. If I go even in the early laning phase with a Yone, I'm happy because I spike much earlier. Yes, he will spike like maybe 1 to 6 better than me, but if I get to Lost Chapter and he's sitting on like a Berserker Graves or whatever it is, I win. Now, and that's the thing that the way the Chinese player plays and the way I play solo queue, I play very, it's calculated aggression. But then what happened? I was like, oh, I've got a duo jungler here. I've got, I can communicate with my jungler. They can help me
I
here.
got Nathan here. We're gonna win the game.
And I knew you were strong.
Yeah.
And I even panned my eyes down to the minimap. I saw you were coming. You just finished the blue buff.
Yep.
I saw you were full HP with ultimate. And I said, Nathan, we're heavy trading mid. And then you said, all right, I'm coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then in my mind, when I heard I'm coming, it's like, okay, he's coming no matter what.
Yeah. I can keep heavy
There's no
trading.
off switch in my mind.
Yeah.
As soon as you say I'm coming,
Yeah.
I assume that you've read the situation and you see it and you're going to take control now. For some reason, that was my mentality was like, Nathan says he's coming. That must mean he's obviously assessing the situation because otherwise he'll call it off. And this ties back to Jono. Now, Jonathan Brown was our performance director in Direwolves. Kind of like a mentor to me and you, Nathan. And
Absolutely.
I learned so much from him. And there was one concept that he talked about which blew my mind. And the concept was called, and it's the most toxic form of communication, is assumed communication. And assumed communication, if I were to go back and be a head coach and things like that, this is the sort of stuff that I would work on. And what assumed communication is I'm assuming things about him or information that he either knows or information, just assuming what he's going to do or information that he knows or assuming what he wants or assuming he knows what I want. Now, what happens in pro teams, it largely happens, is say me and Nathan are playing in a pro team and we get into the review straight after the game. And I'll say, Nathan, why didn't you come? Or why didn't you call it off? And then Nathan's like, well, I thought you were doing this. He might say to me, curious, well, I thought you wanted me to come. I thought you called me there. So I thought it must have worked. It was 100% play. And then I say, no. Then I said to Nathan, no, I mean, you said you were coming. I thought that means that now you would have called it off. It didn't work. And notice how both of us are now saying, I thought you would do this, or I thought you knew this. It's just all assumptions.
Well,
now,
I assumed.
Assumptions are healthy when you refine them over time, right? Because that's efficient communication. Then me and Nathan, we can refine this over time. Now I know if I don't say this, it is. I know 100% that Nathan does know it, because maybe that's the way our communication goes, right? But the toxic thing is, no one gets into this conversation at a pro level. They just continue the assumptions again and again and again and hope that next time it's all good. We just hope that in that situation we are on the same page. And this is how you get on the same page. And the way, I don't like the word to use the word synergy, but the way synergy is really built is getting into this very high quality discussion. And this actually is going to tie into one of my other issues. Funnily enough, one of the other things I wanted to talk about is communication, the quality of communication and conversation. And in order to grow alignment and get on the same page and increase that synergy, we got to get into the nitty gritty of the communication and the assumption, these assumptions that we have with each other. And that was the perfect example last night. Now, it's fun. It makes perfect sense when you join a new team. You have zero synergy a lot of the time, and you're just going to assume a lot of things that it's going to be completely wrong about that player. Now, what we would do and this is why I say you got to have a duo partner over a long period of time, so you can refine this. You can get into the details with your friend and say, "Hey, man, here, what were you thinking, and why was that the case? What information did you assume that I had here? Did you assume that I knew where Zach was? Maybe you in that situation, Nathan, assumed that I knew Zach could be in the area. I don't know." And the other assumption was in that situation, I assumed that because you were coming there and you were in the area, Zach couldn't be there.
Yeah, and you, yeah.
So there was so many assumptions.
And then I assumed that you sort of you were potentially ready for Zach coming there. Yeah,
but I wasn't at all.
Yeah,
that's why I didn't flash it.
Yeah.
So there's so many assumptions going on there, and that's fine and that's normal. But you must refine this over time, and people don't, and they rely on just luck, or they rely on just spamming bulk amount of games and hoping we get on the same, throw enough shit at a wall and hope it sticks.
Eventually it sticks.
But that's just not an efficient way of improving.
No, it's not.
And this is how we as coaches can improve as a head coach. That's how you can speed up that process. That's how we can speed up the process of improvement. What are some other things, Nathan? What is your take on all this? Like
DuoQ and stuff like that.
Okay, DuoQ, yeah, no, any of us.
You would notice. So these are ways, whether it's good or not. The way that I cope with DuoQ, right? You would have heard me many times last night saying, "I don't care what's happening mid. I don't care what's happening mid." Okay, because what I'm trying to tell myself is like I'm trying to subconsciously shut you up because I know I can carry the game. So I don't want any information from you.
Because that's what it actually means.
That's what it actually means.
And that's really common, by the way, is that you will say something that I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
But you know what it means.
It's like sort of assumption, but I carry this game because I was 4-0 a lot of those games. I'm I just know that I do this in solo queue and it works. I don't need to do anything fancy in DuoQ,
Yeah.
Because I'm with a duo.
And you know what just thinking back to our time in Direwolves, you know what the most common situation where assumed communication fucked up a play was say this was more with top lane. The top laner would say, say the jungler, can you come top? And then the jungler would say, I'm coming top. And the inbuilt assumption from the top laner was no matter what is happening, the jungler is coming. He is beelining here, and he is literally coming here at all costs.
Yeah.
But what actually happens for a lot of junglers, no, they're going to hover. Maybe they go in the area. Maybe they'll do something on the way through. They're not immediately coming now and going to do it 100%. They're just looking there a lot of the time. And then the top laner would start taking really aggressive trades, thinking that the jungler's going to come right now. And then the jungler maybe does a camp on the way, or does a scuttle on the way, or sweep somewhere. And then the top laner's like, where's my jungle? What are you doing? Where are you?
Yeah, that's actually always what I am afraid sometimes. I try and do like a timer. So I'm like, I'm on my way. That's dangerous.
No, you be more specific. You say, I'm coming after these two camps.
Yeah.
Or I'm coming
you
right
gotta
now.
like that.
And this is where how we solve this is we're diving on this wave. We ping the wave.
Right.
You ping the wave specifically.
Yeah.
Not that wave, this wave. So the wave coming out of base, that's when I will be at your lane.
Not just like we're diving this.
No, it's not just we're diving. We're diving on that wave.
Yeah.
And then you get more specific. And then you can get into that conversation. What did you think? Blah, blah, blah. And then that sort of thing. I love that sort of coaching, by the way. That's one of my favorite type of coaching when I was at a head coach, like getting into the nitty gritty and the conversation, communication.
Well, a lot of the times when it comes to comms as well, Curtis, people just don't. I always said it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
It's how you say it, yeah.
You know, it's like tone, like urgency. So if you're like, yeah, jungler's like coming to you, jungler's coming to you, jungler's coming to you, jungler's coming to you. Like, I'm on my way up. I need a hoververse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's just a difference, like, because people are so focused in the game, you don't really you hear it, but you don't hear it.
It's kind of like pings. That's why I always tell the mid laner, if your enemy's roaming, do danger. Literally multiple spam pings as many as possible. And the danger's the most loud word. This sounds
danger's the better one.
Danger's the best. Not missing. Danger's the best. Danger. Down the river, exactly where he is.
Yeah.
Not just two missing pings in the middle of the lane. Like I will not hear that.
I never listen to missing pings.
I won't even hear it.
Yeah.
I literally won't hear it.
Yeah.
The way I actually view missing pings is like toxic.
Yeah, they are. They're more toxic.
Like
it's like question mark.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah, they should actually just remove missing pings.
Yeah.
Danger pings is just way better.
Danger pings is so much better.
Yeah, I always danger ping, dude. But danger ping, the V one, the back, what's that one?
Oh, the back one.
I love that. It's like,
yeah, it's a good one.
That's a loud one as well.
But I spam pings when I do it. I usually run out of pings.
Yeah, I always run out of pings as well.
I just run out.
Yeah, you want to milk it. Let's go. Make sure they listen to you.
Yeah, but duo anyway. Going back onto the duo thing. I mean, there are so many disadvantages to duoing, but that's just one.
Yeah.
That's just one.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, you know, like I said this we talked about this, about the benefits of the duo queue removed in high elo. Like, they should just remove it for all solo queue. It's called solo queue for a reason. We can say it like that, you know?
If you want to duo, you should play flex.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people actually duo because, as well, they're insecure they're scared of solo queuing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's so many narratives
they're
there.
So
saying that,
scared.
Yeah, they'd be like, well, like at least I can trust. That's the narrative. At least I can trust one person on my team. Dude, you can't even trust your duo partner because you guys are gonna make each other play worse anyway.
You're gonna make each other play worse.
The matchmaking's worse,
and you're gonna verse another duo.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be on the ball.
Yeah.
You gotta have a good strategy.
Well, that's an assumption, Curtis. You sure they're on the ball?
Well, it's a chance they are.
Yeah, there is. That's right.
You know,
well, they like to pick better duo combo than you do. Like
I love solo queue more though when I know there's not a duo in the game because it's more chaotic.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. But anyway, so again, I didn't want to go deep on duoing, but that one specific element and our experiences last night, I think it was a good example of that. But I still want to duo, but I want to see what we can do if I play like we're playing two independent people.
That's right. We have to play independently.
And then so it's kind of like a relationship.
Yeah.
Right? The best relationships are two independent people that are very competent individually that don't need each other. They just want to be playing with the other person. And then in certain situations, they make each other better.
Yep. Spot on.
They make each other better in certain situations. But in order to make each other better, you both have to be competent. You both have to be doing your job already.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah. Well, that's why I was pissed off.
But
You weren't doing your job.
I wasn't doing my job, or I was changing the way I did my job because I had you as my jungler.
Yeah. When I told you, coach, you just got to do your thing, man. Just
do my thing.
Do your thing. I do my thing, and then we'll use that information to win the game together. But the other thing as well, Curtis, is that duo queues feel like they have to talk all the time. The less you talk, I want less talk.
You should only say things when you really need to.
Yeah. Only key information pieces.
You know, I think it just came to my mind. I think this is actually invisible narrative for me when I duo.
Yeah. An
invisible narrative, I think, I just discovered it is the reason I actually take different trades when I duo is because I know that because I have a jungler that will listen to me, if I heavy trade and my jungler comes first...
But I don't want to help you sometimes.
Yeah, but you don't want to help me. And that just hurts you.
Yeah, it does.
And so it's like a high risk, high reward play style
that
I never do. That's not the way I play League of Legends.
Yeah, that's because you're rank 15 challenger, dude. Just play your game. That's, that's what I wanted you to do.
Yeah.
Stop playing. We don't have to overcomplicate
If I play my
duo
game,
shit.
we can't lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I play my game and then we can work together, you know?
All right.
That's what frustrated me the most. I'm like, I'm literally duoing him with rank 15 on the server.
Yeah.
And he's just playing like a Diamond 4 player.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I know you're so much better than that.
Yeah, I know.
Because the duo, and that literally made me think, it's like, I got to stop duoing with Curtis because he's just playing so much worse.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, no, I think I've become more aware of what I was doing, which is interesting.
I think maybe we just jump into Q&A now, Curtis.
All right.
We can
Well,
save
I
those topics
really
for
want to
another
go next episode. I want to go deep on quality of conversation and
Yeah.
scrims and stuff like that.
one. Love it. We can go
It's a
into
good
that.
topic.
We actually have some questions that we're not going to do today on team stuff and DuoQ and stuff like that as well, actually, I think.
But not
Yeah, we won't. No, we'll do it on the next episode.
the next
then.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to quickly do the usual
Yep.
BBC change battery. We'll be
Okay.
back in just a second. All right, so jumping into some questions our loyal listeners have sent us in. So also the way this works is while we do the segment pretty much every episode. I think we've done it every episode
Yeah.
since we said it. But
Yeah.
if you want us to answer, potentially, I mean, we've pretty much answered most of the questions. Send in your question at brokenbyconceptshow@gmail.com. We definitely read all of them. And we might respond to you if we don't bring it up on the show. But first question here is from Zaneer.
Zaneer.
G'day,
Zaneer.
And Zaneer's got a pretty nice, quick, simple question
Okay.
here. The email's titled "Help. Who are the best roaming mid laners to study?"
As in players?
Yeah,
Or
players. I'd say as players.
That's Doinby.
Doinby. Is Doinby the only one? They'd be like, okay, this guy's like really good. Or
yeah, I would say honestly, that's all you need to watch. If you really want to get good at roaming and assessing situations, Doinby. Period. That's all you need to
He's just
watch.
the best at it.
He's just the best. Most people don't focus on roaming. It's not common.
You shouldn't be focused on that as a mid laner.
I mean, it's a very niche way to play the game, and he makes it work. But, yeah. If you're interested in Talon, there actually is a very good Talon player on the Korean... He's actually Chinese, but he plays on the Korean solo queue ladder.
Yeah.
He's a Talon one trick. I think he's sitting at around like 1,100 points or something like that. If you can get a hold of his OPGG, if you sort by highest ranking Talons in Korea, you'll find him. I think his name's like Huya or something. Or no, I think it's FPX Zhao or something like that. Anyway, you'll find it pretty easily, and I would look at his VODs. That guy is amazing at assessing situations and playing side lanes and skirmishes and things like that. But Doinby's the best.
In terms of champions, so Talon, I played against a Kiana today, dude. She was really annoying, roaming Kiana.
The best roaming champs, I would say...
Lucian's not a roaming champ, is
no,
he?
not at all.
He's a pressure,
He don't
priority,
wanna roam.
deny CS.
Yep. Rumble, I would say Galio, I would say, yeah, Kiana, Fizz, yeah, Talon.
Dinah's an assassin. She's not a roamer.
Not really, no. I'd say they're the main ones.
All right, next question here is from Dave.
G'day,
His
Dave.
question is how to pick your role and champion pool. So he says, "Hi guys, I just discovered your podcast and I've really enjoyed the most recent few episodes. I'm still working on some of the earlier ones, so not sure if he's answered this before. I'm a relatively new player in Bronze 1 and I'm having a really hard time deciding which role and champions are right for me. I'll go a few weeks playing top lane, then decide that doesn't feel right and switch to support, and a few weeks later to mid or jungle or bot. In all roles, I'm totally fine accepting that I'm not yet, I like that, a mechanical savant. So I've stuck to what I perceive to be easier champions like Nico, Annie, Galio, Garen, Siva, Ashe, Jinx, Lux, Amumu, Nocturne, Xin, Zhao, and probably more. So it's, I mean, he's pretty much tried everything.
Yeah. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it.
But I acknowledge the pool and role diversity is still way too large to learn and improve overall game concept. So he's talking about, I think he understands he needs to really hone in on
Champion
something.
mastery.
So his question is, what are our recommendations to a newer player for picking a role in champion pool when none of them feel exactly right or fully satisfying? Thanks, Dave. So I've sort of experienced this, And in terms of, I like what you say here, Dave, instead of says there's no champ that's really doing it for you. And I feel like there's an element to it. It's not everything where you've just got to pick something and fall in love with it. Force yourself to fall in love with it in a way. Fall in love with the process of mastery. Because what I find is people keep dabbling too much. And for me, when I'm like, okay, I'm just going to commit to this champion.
Yeah.
I start to be like, okay, I'm liking it. It's like I'm loving the process of mastering it, not the champion itself.
You got to view a champion as a tool. That's all they are. Champions is a tool
For you to win a game.
for you to win a game. It's not, and you learn the game through the tool in a way. I mean, one thing that people don't understand as well is that the game gets more fun the more champion mastery you have on a champion, right? So you actually have less fun dabbling in all champions. Because you never actually get the feeling of getting past, knowing how to,
your strengths and weaknesses, when to play in certain situations, how to play skirmishes,
exactly.
what you're good into, what you're bad
because
into.
as well, your mind gets freed up.
Yeah.
Because again, I talk about that in my recent autopiloting video is you have the system 1 and system 2 decision making. At the beginning, when you just pick up a champion or you're a newer player, you barely have any system 1 decision making or ability because you have no ingrained habits. Your instincts are very poorly refined. And you have to use your system 2 for so many of just the basic things, like just CSing, basic trading, like just the fundamentals of the game. You have no muscle memory. And the fastest way to develop muscle memory is through spamming, 1 or 2 champions, ideally 2 champions, and getting really, really good at them. Because then you develop your muscle memory, you develop the habits, you refine your instincts, and then that brain power that you're going to free up is able to be used in other aspects of the game. Then you can start to be more creative, maybe create your own strategies with the way you want to play the game. Think more in the future about your item spikes, creatively use abilities to create advantages. Find roam opportunities that you never would have saw possible. Start thinking about your wave location, whatever it is. None of that is possible without champion mastery. So I think there's an element to that. Like I totally agree with you, Nathan. You're just going to have to eventually at some point make an executive call and learn to fall in love with a champion. But I don't really believe that nothing clicks with you. I truly believe everyone has, at least if it's not a champion, a stylistic tendency. Now, you may not know what all the champions in the game yet, so you might not know what clicks and what doesn't, but you will know stylistically the way you like to play the game. So if you're stylistically the type of player that wants to play overly, like maybe it's like when you play what are they called, like RPG games or whatever you're playing Diablo. You get the people that have a gut feeling. They just love fighters. They want to get into the action, take a lot of damage.
So now we're talking about role, because he doesn't even know what role he wants to be. Top lane, mid support.
Yeah, so start at first with like the way you like to play fights. Do you like mages and sit from a distance, or do you like burst-oriented champions? Do you like a lot of mechanical kiting,
you want to be tanky,
archers,
melee?
Do you like mages? Start to think of it at a very high level, and then you get deeper and deeper. So let's actually kind of break through what the roles are, very simply put. Okay, if we were to break it down at a super simple level, AD carry, very mechanically intensive. You're the hyper carry. You scale it. You spike it 3 items.
No mobility, lots of damage.
Lots of damage. No, you're squishy, very, very squishy, and you got to be very careful with your positioning. Yeah. And you need time to build up your strength over the game, and your support helps you through that. The support,
they can go 2 options.
2 options. You can be a very aggressive, CC-oriented support.
Poke supports.
You can be poke supports like mages and poke out the enemy and then create space that way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different supports. So that's a very flexible role. But that's less about what you do. That's more about like your mindset. You're not a carry as a support. You are a facilitator. You are helping your AD carry. You are more of like a support, like literally a support.
You can view yourself as a carry, as a support.
Yeah, but the type of people that play support they don't want to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
Just in my history of support, they don't want to be the center. They want to still,
facilitate is the right word.
Facilitate, yeah. I would say, what did you say about jungle?
Jungle's
a mind one. It's using your mind.
It's less about the champions. It's more about how you want to impact the game. You have influence potential in the entire game, right? So it's like
You're very what's the word?
I mean the
cerebral role. It's a very cerebral role.
Yeah, it's a more cerebral thinking role about thinking about how to win the game versus like mechanics in a way.
Yeah. Less. I would say mechanics are obviously important, but it is more cerebral. You're thinking more about the map.
Yeah.
And because you're not actively interacting with one other person. Top lane, again, I would say you're like it can go a lot of different ways. Traditionally, though, top lane, most of the utility and the front line comes through top lane. But in history, there's most of the tanks through top lane, most of the utility, most of the engage comes through the top lane champions. Now, in saying that, there are a lot of carry-oriented top laners that don't really offer any utility and like a secondary carry alongside the mid laner. Because the mid laner and the top laner, they can alternate roles. You can be a facilitator and more of the front line of engage.
Camille. Yeah. Galio mid, Camille top.
Yeah, so that's a perfect example. Camille top is the carry in that situation, and Camille. And Galio mid is the facilitator and the engage in the the front line. So they kind of alternate. But generally, there's more mages and assassins in the mid lane. And again, that's why mid lane is the most hard, in my opinion, one of the hardest roles, because you got to not only be mechanically sound and really focus intensively on the micro and be a carry, but you also got to have the map element and the macro down pat, because you're in the center of the map. You got to be able to set you have the fastest entrance into the jungle. You're very close to the jungle. You have access to both side lanes, and you both have access to all objectives on the map. So mid lane is a very important role to the center of attention. But top lane is more of like it's a pretty versatile role, but again, kind of like a secondary carry in a way. Secondary carry. So I would start thinking about that first.
So where do you want to slot yourself into those 5 roles? What do you gel with the most?
Stylistically, what do you gel with? Once you go from there, then you can start refining.
Choose champions.
Then you start to choose champions. Yeah.
I definitely recommend watching my Xin Zhao guide if you're looking to get into jungle, because that guide teaches. Xin Zhao's not a good champion in the meta right now.
Yeah.
But I recommend him for lower elo people, and he teaches great fundamentals of jungling because you play around. I talk about the hydraulic press mindset in that guide, about understanding when to play around, how you can hard snowball a game through a specific lane, which is like jungling 101.
And if you're interested in mid lane mages, I have a really good Annie guide.
Yeah, and watch Curtis's Annie guide as well.
Annie's the ultimate mid lane learning champion.
All right, so I think that answers Dave's question there. All right, let's move on to Isha's question here. So this is his title, Ego or Confidence. What do you guys think the difference between having ego and confidence is? How can you tell the difference if there is one, and get rid of an ego, or is ego good?
That's such a fine line, man. It's so hard, eh?
It is hard. It's a very hard question to answer. It's a good question, Ish.
I love it. I mean, I just think you have to have some form of an ego in League of Legends.
Yeah, but is that just confidence, and then you understand? Because, I mean, ego blinds you from something you're learning. It
does. But I feel like, I feel like having an ego gets you to a certain point. And then you kind of like cap out, and then you got to put aside your ego to go to the next level.
So,
because think about this in traditions. Think about fighters, right?
Yeah.
A lot of fighters have big egos, but
they're confident.
Yeah, but then they take it to the next level. They like
delusional.
They're able to put it aside a bit. Like think about Khabib. Like he probably has an ego.
Yeah,
definitely. But he controls it, and he's able to put it aside.
He knows that he needs to still put in the work,
and he knows he can be beaten by anyone.
Yeah. He can't slip up.
But I think where the main takeaway from this sort of question is, the most important thing is, how are you developing your confidence? Are you developing your confidence off the compliments of other people? Or are you developing your confidence based off having very good practice schedules, having great, like you're actively tracking your improvement, seeing your improvement, both through the feeling of the way you're winning games, the way you're getting leads? Are you getting leads because of games getting scaled out to 40 minutes and then you just somehow coin flipping games? Or are you actively employing like a wave manipulation technique and getting ahead? Mm-hmm. Are you held the wave on your side and you set up a gank and it worked and you got ahead? Like that's great. That's really great stuff. Mm. And that's a great way to build confidence. Like, oh, I actually played this fight really well. Give yourself a pat on the back. Go into the review. And that's important, actually. A great way to build confidence is people tunnel so hard on only looking at reviews to look at mistakes. It's important that you also give yourself a pat on the back to see things that you did well. And how can you replicate the things that you did well? If you see a really awesome play, it's like, oh, check out this play I did here. I held the wave here. The enemy had to overextend. I ping warded one side. I set up a gank and we got ahead. Or maybe I bounced the wave, got it on my side and chased them down the long lane when I got level 6. Whatever it is, compliment yourself. Recognize how you did it and replicate it. And that is how you build confidence in a very genuine way. Rather than, there's a lot of other toxic ways to build confidence. There's like people sucking up to you or whatever it is.
I mean, I guess like the trap we always talk about for confidence is like, win streaks and loss streaks, like losing confidence and stuff, right?
Exactly.
The big thing as well, in terms of like building confidence, we always talk about improvement. It's like, so improvement equals confidence. Sometimes you can be confident in viewing the struggle. Viewing, you're going to have really, like, let's say you want to be like master tier or something like that, right? Or like your goals diamond. You're going to struggle a lot. It's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. You improve like, oh, like I win. Like you actually gain confidence during you going, I know it's going to be hard, but I'm going to get through it because my review, my schedule, like we talk about schedule's going to be good. My review process is going to be good. I'm going to work really hard. But it's going to be, I'm going to lose a lot. Like understanding you're going to lose 10 games, but you're still confident in your ability.
You're confident and you're confident in the type of person you are to overcome adversity. And then when you do overcome adversity, you're like, holy fuck yeah, I'm a beast.
Beast.
Not because I got here pretty, not because I got here with a 75% win rate.
Pretty.
I got here with a 52% win rate and I'm still here and I'm climbing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Love it.
And people think climbing in League of Legends is...
It's about win rates.
It's about win rates.
Get rid of this account. It's like this account's doomed.
Going on 50 counts and you got to have a 70% win rate with perfect KDAs. Dude, even on my main account, I have like 3 champions in my top 10 where I have a negative win rate. I don't give a shit about KDAs, win rates, nothing like that. It's about I went on a loss streak. Okay, I'm still here. I'm coming back and I'm improving, I'm learning, and I'm above where I was before. I overcome adversity. It's the way you develop confidence. Now, in saying that though, I think it is important to you got to have some form of self-respect. You got to have a level of self-respect and you got to have some form of a bit of an ego. And again, I just think tying it back to the way you develop that ego and the way you develop that confidence is the important thing. I think that's the biggest takeaway.
The way you develop it.
Yeah.
The way you earn it.
The way you earn. That's a good word, actually.
The way you earn your confidence, your ego.
Yeah.
All right, our next question here is from Valixas. So this is on autopiloting, which is good.
Yep,
very relevant to your video that you released today.
Yep.
I've heard a lot of discussion about autopiloting being a bad thing, but can't autopiloting also be good? When you have such champion mastery that you understand the matchups and how to mechanically play X champ gives you the opportunity to actually focus on playing the game. I see positives autopiloting developed over 3 stages. 1, being played by a champion. The way I see things, majority of players get played by champions until they develop mastery over that champion. When mastery is achieved, they can actually autopilot in the mechanics of the champion, which now enables them to learn matchups.
Autopiloting's not that.
That's not...
He's conflating...
Yeah.
He's conflating system 1 decision making with autopiloting.
Got it. So explain that.
So I talk about in my video.
Yeah.
Autopiloting is purely relying on system 1 decision making. That is all. You're not employing any system 2 decision making. System 1 decision making is relying on your habits and your muscle memory and your instincts. That is what you do, and you develop that through thousands of games. But autopiloting is only using that and not using any of the system 2, because the great thing and the reason system 1 exists in the first place is so we don't get overwhelmed because we need it to free ourselves to think about more complex things. In life, we don't actively think about how to get up off this couch and walk over to that door.
That's system 1.
That's system 1. We just know how, range assessment. I don't need to think about how far I need to push my hand here in order to not touch you. I just know how to do it. It's muscle memory. I know how to control my body. That we use these because there was like a thing. We make like 35,000 decisions in like, I can't remember what it was, like in a day or whatever it was, or like in a short period of time.
Yeah.
If that was all with system 2, our brain would explode.
Yeah.
We need it.
Yeah.
So anyway, you want to go on, but that's what I'm seeing so far.
So the definition there.
I think he's got it mixed up a bit.
Mixed up. The second one is learning matchups. After learning multiple different matchups, this is when players can finally begin to learn the game. And then number 3 says, now you can learn to play League of Legends. When you're learning the game, you should actually be autopilot on the mechanics of your champion, how the matchup you're playing goes. This then enables you to track junglers, predict dives, like do the more complex things, right?
I don't know if he's watched my video. When was this email sent?
12:47 p.m.
Maybe he didn't watch my video.
Yeah, you should watch Curtis'
I think
video.
he hasn't. I literally put out a video last night on my channel, Valixas, about autopiloting. Because it feels like you haven't watched it.
So, to focus on playing the game, you should no longer need to focus on mechanics. Yeah, so basically I think to answer your question is that you've got it confused.
You've got it confused.
He literally says, am I delusional? Is this why I'm currently a diamond player? XD.
No, you're spot on. You are.
This is what you want to get to, definitely.
You want to have to, like, when I'm playing Orianna, I don't think about the range matchup or what the range is of that champion or how to CS. That's just all muscle memory for me at that level.
But if you were to only do that, then...
that's what autopiloting is. It's only doing that.
Then you wouldn't
That's
become...
why the example I talk about in my video is the reason why you can't translate leads very effectively when autopiloting is because in order to translate leads, you need to use your system too to put together all these pieces of information. Oh, what's happening in the side lane? What's the next objective? What's my role in this next team fight? Who's got flashes? Assess all the itemization. That is not system one decision making.
No.
You can't do that while autopiloting. So yeah. Check out my video, man. That will definitely put you on the right path.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for our Q&A in the episode number 14 of Broken by Concept BBC. I think that's going to be... There's no more last words. That's going to be it. I'm
feeling like dick.
Yep, Curtis needs to recover.
I need to sleep early tonight.
From whatever he's going through.
Yep.
But he'll be okay. I'm sure Curtis is a man. He can power through it.
Yep.
We'll see you guys in episode number 15. Thanks a lot for listening, watching. And
catch up.
We'll catch you next time.